Hi, this is Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Today we are making this gorgeous Sunburst granny square. These granny sunbursts can be made with any yarn. I have a whole bunch that I turned into my nemesis pillow, just different colors of yarn, different textures, but we're just going to be doing a regular one today, but the possibilities are endless. So don't be limited to the yarn that I'm using. You can use any yarn that you like at all. If you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, it's available over on my website, secretyarnery.com, and you don't have to worry about being able to read a pattern. All of my patterns are written in plain English, just like I'm speaking in this video. You don't need much yarn to make your sunburst granny square. I am just using scraps of a 4-weight worsted acrylic. I'm going to be using a 6mm crochet hook, and you'll also need a needle for sewing in your ends. So let's get started. To start, we're going to make a magic ring. You could also do a chain 3 ring if you prefer. But to make a magic ring, just hold the tail on the ring finger of your non-dominant hand. Wrap your yarn around 2 fingers, making an X. Bring it around all 3 fingers and just loop it also underneath your thumb. Turn your hand over. You will have a short strand and a long strand. Grab your crochet hook, hook facing down, and just slide that underneath the short strand. Grabbing the long strand and bringing it under. Point the hook towards yourself. Relax your thumb a little bit so that long strand can slide, just like that. Grab the long strand and bring it through the loop on your hook. And there is your magic ring. I will link a tutorial for magic ring up in the cards if you want to practice it. And chain 1. Now we're going to work into our ring, going over both of those tails, and we're going to make 15 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And now pause the video and keep working ahead. 15 double crochets, and your chain doesn't count as anything. So we have to actually make 15 double crochets, and I'll meet you when we get back to where we started. So there is my 15 double crochets, not including my chain. And if you need more space on that ring, you can just keep tugging on that ring a little bit, or that tail, I should say, tug on the tail a little bit so that you don't lose your tail. We have to make sure we work over that tail. So when we have our 15, go ahead and pull that tail closed, nice and snug. And now we're going to go in to the top of our first real double crochet to join. Let me show you where that is. Right here, our first real double crochet is right there, and it is that little stitch on the side. We're going to go into that stitch, and that's going to pull up that first double crochet. So this little stitch on the side is actually quite a large stitch on the side. So go ahead and slip stitch to join both strands of that stitch on the top of your hook. Slip stitch and chain 1. Go ahead and cut your yarn. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. Now your center tail, if you did a magic ring, we want to go ahead and sew that in just so we don't forget. So to sew in your tail, just go forward a couple times. There is 1 and 2. And then go in the opposite direction, just so that magic ring is not going to come out in the future. Couple times forward, couple times back. And these sharp tip needles really, really help. There we go. Cut your tail. And that finishes round 1. To start round 2, I'm just going to work ahead, so not where my join is. I'm going to work into this stitch right here, the stitch after the join. So pop your hook in and grab your next color of yarn. loop of yarn on your hook, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail, just holding it along the back of your work, and chain 1. Just like that, and make 1 more double crochet into that same stitch. 1 double crochet. Chain 1, and into the next stitch, which is right here, we're going to make a 2 double crochet cluster, or 2 double crochets together. So start your first double crochet, leaving those 2 loops on your hook. Start your second double crochet, just taking off the first 2 loops and leaving the last loop on your hook. So now you have 3 loops. Wrap your yarn, turn your hook towards yourself and pinch that last stitch we made. Slide your hook through all 3 loops and chain 1. So we're going to do that into each stitch all the way around. So wrap your yarn and into the next stitch, start your first double crochet, leaving those last 2 loops on your hook. Start your second double crochet, leaving that last loop on your hook, so 3 loops in total. Wrap your yarn, turn your hook, pinch that last stitch, and bring your hook through. Chain 1. So you can pause the video and keep working along, doing a 2 double crochets together, or a 2 double crochet cluster, and a chain 1 into each stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you when we get closer to where we started. Now when we get back to where we started, we have our join left, and we're going to work in before and after our join. So we're going to work in before, right there, that stitch before the join, and we're going to work in after the join. So we're turning our join into 2 stitches. So we want a total of 16 of these clusters going all the way around. So you can also just count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we need a 15, that's before, and a 16, that's after. That's going to even out our circle, our starting wheel, so that it looks great. It doesn't look like we skipped over our join. So wrap your yarn and into that little tiny half stitch before the join, do your cluster or your 2 double crochets together. Just like that. Do your chain 1, and now into the stitch after that join, or that little tiny hole right there, we're going to do our last. So we're going to have a total of 16 of these 2 double crochet clusters, and a chain 1. And now see how that evens out our wheel. So go ahead and slip stitch. We're going to slip stitch to join right into this stitch right there, right at the top of that cluster, right there. So slip stitch to join, chain 1 to secure your yarn, cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later, pull your hook up and your yarn through, and snug that down to secure. And that finishes round 2. Have you subscribed to this channel? Go ahead and hit this button under this video right now so you don't miss out on any more fun stuff just like this. To start round 3, we're just going to be working into the spaces now. So you can just pick any space. Just pop your hook in, loop of your next color on your hook, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail, just holding it along the back of your work, and chain 1. Now into that very same space, we're going to do 4 double crochet clusters, or a cluster of 4 double crochets. So this counts as starting our first double crochet. Wrap your yarn and start 3 double crochets, but leaving that last loop on your hook. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So we have 4 loops on our hook. Wrap your yarn, turn your hook towards yourself, pinch that last stitch to get that loop to behave. Bring your hook through and chain 2. 1 and 2. Into the next space, we're going to do 4. We're going to start 4 double crochets. So start 1, starting our second, starting our third, and starting our 4th. So there's 5 loops on our hook. Wrap your yarn, pinch that last stitch, and slide your hook through all 5 loops and chain 2. We're going to do that into each space all the way around. So into the next space, start your 4 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So you'll have 5 loops on your hook. Wrap your yarn, turn your hook, and take off all 5 loops and chain 2. 1 and 2. So now you can pause the video and keep working around, starting 4 double crochets and finishing them together with a chain 2 into each space all the way around, and I'll meet you when we get back to where we started. When you get back around to where we started, we are going to slip stitch to join just into this stitch right there along the top side of our cluster. So slip stitch right into that stitch, 1 little slip stitch to join, and chain 1 to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. And that finishes round 3. To start round 4, we want to keep track of where our tail is, and we want to pull our tail forward. So look for where we joined our yarn and just hold that going forward into that space. We want to count 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and we want to work into the 4th. So we want to start over here. So into the 4th space before the join, loop of your new color on your hook, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail just holding it along the top of your work and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. So this counts as our first treble crochet. Wrap your yarn twice and 2 more treble crochets into that same space. 1, 2. So that counts as our 3 treble crochets. Now into the next space right here, 3 double crochets. So we're building our square now. 3 double crochets into the next space. There's 2, and there is 3. Into the next space, 3 half double crochets. So 3 half doubles. We take off all 3 loops. So 3 half double crochets into the next space. Just like that. And into the next space, we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Into the next space, we're going to do our corner, and we're going to take our tail and pull our tail going forward. So we're going to be working over our tail for this corner space right here that we're making. So corners are 3 treble crochets. There is 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and into the same space, 3 more treble crochets. So that is going to be our corner for this round. We're always going to do the same thing into each corner. So there is 1 treble crochet. Here is number 2 and number 3. Just like that. So now along this side, we're going to do 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, and 3 double crochets all along this side. So 3 double crochets into the next space. There's 1, 2, and 3. Into the next space, 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And into the next space, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that is the side of our granny square, our sunburst granny. Into the next space, we're going to do a corner, and corners are always 3 treble crochets, chain 2, and 3 treble crochets, all into the same space. So there is 1, there is our number 2, and here is number 3. So that starts our corner. Chain 2, you can slide those stitches back if you need some more room. Wrap your yarn twice and 3 more treble crochets into that same space. There is 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. Now working along the sides, these next 3 spaces, 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, and 3 double crochets. And into the corner space, we're going to do a corner, 3 treble crochets, chain 2, and 3 treble crochets. So just keep working along, doing your sides, 3 doubles, 3 half doubles, and 3 doubles, and corners, 3 treble crochet, chain 2, 3 treble crochet, all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get back to where we started. When you get back to where we started, you're going to slide those first stitches forward so we have more space in that corner space to finish our corner. So wrap your yarn twice and into the same space where we started, 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And now there's 2 ways to join. If you're going to keep going, now that it's a granny square, you're going to keep going in the same color yarn. You will join with a chain 1 and a single crochet into the top of that chain 3 to join. So you'll join with a single crochet, and that ends you up in the center of your corner. You will do your chain 3, and you can turn your work. If you're turning your work, do your first 2 double crochets into the same space. Or you can not turn your work, put your 2 double crochets right here into this space here, and then just your 3 treble crochets into each space all the way along. So that's how you can join if you're going to keep going. If you are finished with this color, you will join with a chain 2, and you will single crochet into the top of that chain 3 to join, a single crochet, oops, and you will slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join, just like we have been. So slip stitch to join, chain 1 to secure your yarn, cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later, pull your hook up and your yarn through, and snug that down to secure. Sew in your tails, and you're finished. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. I'm waiting for you in that video right there, and stay hooked.